Hey, church. On Sunday, we started our current message series, Him and Her, which is a 3-week series on marriage and relationships. And one of the things we talked about is the truth that God gave you your spouse so that you could be a blessing to them. That's your mission as a husband or as a wife, is to be a blessing to your spouse. And I shared that what I've noticed in my own life is that my flesh, my sin nature, our enemy, Satan, loves to get us to get that backwards. So here's what happens. Instead of me thinking, how can I be a blessing to my wife? My flesh begins to take over and I begin to focus on, is my wife doing a good job at being a blessing to me? And I begin to become critical and judgmental, and my entire focus shifts to, is she doing a good enough job at being a blessing to me? And you know what you realize very quickly? You realize that if you are focused on others being a blessing to you, you're going to be perpetually dissatisfied. What they're doing is never going to be good enough. You're always going to find something to pick apart. You're always going to find something to criticize. But if you will focus on being a blessing, you will always end up being blessed yourself. And you'll find that being a blessing to your spouse is actually a blessing to you. Just the act of being a blessing to them will bless you. And this is so important because it's not in your control to make your spouse be a blessing to you. You can't force them to do that. What's in your control is being a blessing to your spouse. So I want to encourage you, don't get caught up in the trap of focusing on whether or not your spouse is doing a good job being a blessing to you. You focus on being a blessing to them, and you will find yourself in the process being blessed. And if you're stuck in this stalemate where you're both discontent because you think the other person isn't doing a good job being a blessing, well, then break that stalemate by choosing to focus instead on being a blessing to them, and you will find that you yourself are blessed. God bless you guys, and I hope we see you Sunday for part 2.